Hello, and welcome to the MENA Women Rising podcast. You are about to listen to a new episode of this podcast series launched as part of UNIDO's project, promoting women's empowerment for inclusive and sustainable industrial development in the MENA region. This podcast is part of a campaign on women in industry and innovation with the hashtag If She Can Do It, I Can Do It. In this podcast, we invite inspiring women from the MENA region to share their experiences. These are women who have embarked on an entrepreneurial career, who have overcome many challenges, and who have succeeded in making their marks through courage and perseverance. In this podcast, we will be discussing these success stories with a view to getting the best out of them, but above all, to providing tools and answers to some of the questions that women in the region and elsewhere may be asking themselves in order to move forward with their career plans. Our guest today is Dina Abayazeed, a mentor and professional coach recognized for her mentorship and business coaching efforts with entrepreneurs in the field of IT innovation. Dina is a great believer in the potential of young professionals and the importance of learning and skills development to make them the change leaders of tomorrow. That's why, during her time at Advanced Computer Technology, aka ACT Holding, she has succeeded in setting up different programs aimed at young people and women. Dina believes in the possibility of shaping one's destiny, changing the context, and overturning the social norms that can be a brake on a woman who wants to embark on a career in IT. In this episode, we've chosen to focus on personality development and the changes in perception that every woman needs to achieve her professional goals. We are talking about validation by others and how to get rid of it, changing social norms, communication and self-branding, as well as work-life balance. Through the journey of Dina Abayazeed and her advices as a business coach, today's episode is a real empowerment tool for all women listening to us. Hi Dina.
Hi Rabia.
I am very happy to have you as a guest for this episode to talk about your career path, and to talk about your challenges, and to talk about what you are today, a woman full of skills, a woman يعني متمكنة من نفسها, a woman that help other women and that helps youngest women. So before we talk about what you are today, maybe let's go back to that, what you were before, and let's go back to 95 when you graduated from a business university in Cairo. Why this career choice? Why business, and why the university in Cairo?
The pleasure is all mine, Rabia, to be your guest in this episode. Actually, going back like 30 years to 95, this is I didn't have this much of choice. When I went to Cairo University, I was graduated from actually my high school was from a British school. It was very tough at that time to go to the American university because I'm coming from a middle class family. This was very expensive for me at that time. It was my GPA who would actually put me in the university.
And what did you want to do? Really? What was your passion?
Actually, this was a very big word for a 18 years girl back in 1995. There was no passion. No one actually looked for my passion or what I wanted to be. Actually, what I wanted to be was an architect at that time. Feeling like this was a good thing a good career woman would do because of the feminism and the quality of art within. But this was, I didn't know my passion except when I was at 30 years.
Wow.
So no one asked those kinds of questions at that time.
So you follow the classical path and you went to this business university, but then later you went to the United States to do an MBA in California. So I want to know
what did you discover? What did you learn that was most important for your career when you went to US?
Actually, this is the other story. When we're graduating from a business school, I worked for the a USAID project.
Mm-hmm.
I had a mentor at that time. He was telling me that you have to love to love what you to do what you love.
Yes.
So, being a secretary in the USAID project, I started studying in the American University in Cairo to become a professional secretary. So it all came down to my learning. And the more I learned at that time, the more I wanted to learn more. And after receiving an administrative diploma like a secretary, I started after that studying marketing and sales. And I loved being in this learning environment. The learning environment itself developed me, and I wanted more. So scholarship. I submitted my papers for a scholarship to become a trainer, and this is where I was selected to go to the US and become a certified trainer at that time.
How old were you?
I was like, this is 2000, so 27, 28.
Now everybody know your age.
Yeah. I was like
27, and then you knew what you want to do in life.
Yes, I had this passion with my mentor now, being my manager. He was a good mentor. He was telling me always that I would shine, and this is the word he would have used at that time. I would shine in a business that would influence others. So trading, marketing, human resources would be an area for me to develop my skills.
So this is your academic experience, but let's be more specific about the society where you were living, because I heard you in some interviews saying that you were part of a macho society in which a working woman was not the classical path, and you did something else. So you are a good working woman today. And maybe in this episode, we can tell for you, how can a woman develop and assert herself in this context when she's being raised in a macho society?
Yeah, the first time I joined, in my career, I was always working in a men-dominating industry. And for that, my skills... they were seeking my competences in a stereotype form. So either you are a PR or a marketer, a secretary, and this was not good. I didn't find that a good thing. I thought that they shouldn't actually appraise or evaluate me because of my gender. So the more the society did that, the more I started to become macho. So my competences would become more. I'm better than any other man, whatever I am, by studying, by developing myself. It started with my manager wasn't actually holding any academic diploma or academic certificate, and I had 3 or 4. And this is where I started believing at that time, I should actually compete with them because they are the one getting the raises and they are the one getting the promotions and so on and so forth. It was all about developing. Next thing, it started to become like I'm more competent than others, and I had a very good chance to meet with decision makers in the company, and they started seeing, Dina is good, and Dina, she should be promoted, and she can teach others, and she has to grow inside the company rather than outside the company. What I dealt with is what every woman would deal with in a macho environment where women, they can't. They always trying to give you this kind of slogan that you can't become a field engineer, you can't go outside.
It's not a yes you can, it's no you can't.
It's not you can. Yes, it's no you can't. You can't become a manager, you can't become a director, you can't. And this was early in my early stages, where I had to compete with them with the same way they compete with each other, till I realized that we shouldn't compete with them. Actually, we have competitive advantages that they don't have, and diversity is important. Not because I'm a woman I'm good or bad. It is because I'm competent. It is what, if I'm good, I'm good. If I'm bad, I'm bad. Competency-wise, not stereotype-wise or appearance-wise or gender-wise or race-wise or anything. It is competencies in the job, and we have lots of those competencies built in, like management, emotional intelligence, leadership, and those kind of skills would actually make any woman grow when she has the mind in it.
You talk about another issue, because now we are taken, so there's this thing of macho society, but there is also that thing about validation that women, Arab women particularly, need from fathers, from brothers or men. How do you explain this need for validation?
Dear Rawia, I believe that when you have a goal and you are set to do it, and you are using all the tools that you have, resources, you are doing your best. This is the only thing that you can say to yourself. You need no validation from anyone, because validation means that we have one ruler for everything. And success for me is totally different than success to you, and excellence for you is totally different than excellence for me. So who should validate that I'm doing good or I'm doing bad is me. I don't need, before we have to, we are talking about a norm culture that I'm good.
Yes.
If my manager says that I'm good or I'm successful, if my father says that I'm successful. And this is the mirror of society. It will always not, it will never show you who you are. They will show you your reflection on them.
But it's still on.
Yeah, it's still on, but how far you are taking their validation into consideration. With a good argument, you will actually go and say, okay, these were my goals and I succeeded in them. I don't need you to tell me that I'm successful.
So we should compete with ourselves and seek validation only from ourselves.
Yes, and from trusted people. Yeah. Sometimes you need somebody you trust. You trust like a mentor, like a coach, like first of all, he or she. I don't mean he should be a mentor. He or she should be a mentor. He or she should be a coach. He should maybe an open-minded father would play that role in a girl's life. But we don't need validation from like everyone. We don't need validation. We need trusted people we surround ourselves with trusted, competent, worthy people to give us feedback when we need and to give us guidance when we need. It is all about feedback and guidance.
I guess you had your trusted people all along your career. So let's go back to this career, because you've had a career with ACT since 2011. And yes. We want to know what is Advanced Computer Technology, the ICT, and how have you developed with this company? Can you tell us more about the programs you have developed? Because I read that you developed programs for young people and gender diversity.
Okay, let's start. ACT, or ACT, is a system integration company. It's a local company, have been in the market since 1988. It is 100% Egyptian pound owned. The person who founded the company back in 1988 is a very progressive leader for me to say, because it is still standing till today. I joined ACT in 2011 as a marketing coordinator, and this is where I shined with my previous mentorship, telling me that I would shine in a marketing or a people management job. And because I received my CIM, Chartered Institute of Marketing certificate, I started with the company as a marketing coordinator, starting the marketing from the first step in the ladder. In 5 years, I have created, like, with the support of my colleagues and manager at that time, the marketing department. We started the marketing function with only two. I left the marketing department in 2000 and actually, I'm not, there is something wrong, not wrong, but I have started my career, I've started my career in ACT in 2003.
And three. Okay.
And from 2003 to 2008, I was from marketing coordinator till marketing manager. So in 5 years, I have been promoted just like others to become in a management position. Mm-hmm. I left the company for 3 years to receive my MBA from San Diego University, California.
Yes.
I came back in 2011, and actually the president called me and he told me, come back and start the HR department. So previously we didn't have an HR department. And he told me, okay, Dina, please come back and start the HR department like you have started the marketing department before. This is where I started with another passion, which is people management. So it started with customer management and then with employee management. And this is, again, the advice that I received. When I started as a human resources manager, it was all about learning, because I knew that we can only grow internally inside the company if we are all on the same level of knowledge. And I started standardizing knowledge within the company. I built 3 programs, one for leadership and another one for young people and another one for middle management. And then I realized that we are 360 employees with only 61 women working.
Wow.
And being an HR, you are now seeing that the men, they are leaving the company. Turnover comes only in men. Because they are seeking better opportunities outside, and those really who you would like to retain are women who, if they are satisfied and they are growing internally, this would increase the retention of employees, and actually we will succeed in a better way. I introduced working with GIZ, I introduced gender diversity management programs internally. And we increased the working women from 61. We are now 130. So
in how many years?
In 4 years. So it took us a bit to strategize the concept, because there are departments who are against women hiring. Because she will take months off because of pregnancy and so on and so forth, and they didn't believe in the concept of that. Whenever we are both on the table, we are more productive. It took us in those departments some time, technically, طبعا, and we with champions, with gender diversity champions internally. We succeeded in changing a bit this mindset.
About these young women at young age, what soft skills, Dina, do you think girls and boys must lack, but particularly girls? Is there a difference, like, in terms of needs between girls and boys?
I believe no. Like, have been created equal. So it was Adam and Eve, 50-50. So we are equal in everything. It is the norm and culture of the countries who actually reshape this 50-50 model. I believe that boys are like girls in an early age. They have to first have work on their self-awareness, their strengths and their weaknesses. They have to work on what they would like to achieve and when. And this is very important. It is very good in an early age to become a people-oriented person, increasing communication skills, their communication skills and emotional intelligence. They have to understand that it is not only the technical thing, but actually good manners would open doors better than education would do. They have to live their lives, so they have to find time for teams, working in teams and knowing their own competencies and strengths. I always tell my daughter that you are always complete. You are complete the way you are. You don't need somebody to complete you. It's something that women should empower women. So mothers should actually start that with their girls. And of course, nowadays fathers are different, the generations are different, but unfortunately, the society is not that different.
Yes.
So we have to work together. It takes us all to change this kind of mindset.
Speaking about Dina, about social norms, about childhood, there's something interesting you said before, that you are convinced that everything happens during childhood and that this period shapes our future. But at the same time, you say that we have the opportunity to make changes once we are adults, particularly in this term of the values or social norms we have acquired. How can this happen? How can we change something that is really rooted?
It takes some courage. Like, if we will always blame others. I will always blame my father. It is easier to blame my father. It is easier to blame the society, but it takes some courage to stand and say, this is not what I want and this is not what I believe. This is against how maybe I was brought up in a way that my parents assumed that this is the good way to raise their daughter. But when I'm 18 or 19 and back at that time, we didn't have this exposure. I didn't see others. I just wanted to actually, and this is where I said what you have mentioned now. I was always compared with my brothers. I'm an only daughter and I have 3 brothers. So I didn't want that to actually shape my future. I should be on my own. So maybe I was brought up in that way because my father is a very conservative father. He would like, I'm a girl and I should be taken care of all my life and this sort of thing, which I don't deny that they love me and every parent would love their children. But when I grow up and I have my own mind, I should stand up and say, this is not what I want. And this is how everyone is a pillar of change in him or herself. You cannot be blamed. There is a quote for businessmen that you cannot blame your father for being born poor. You have to blame yourself not becoming rich. So there are always 3 things that I'm always considering. Like, there are things that I can control and things that I cannot control and things that are uncontrollable. So macro environment actually affects us. But we are there. It is your attitude towards the same thing. Yes, we have to change.
There's another thing very interesting because it's a different vision. Usually, women say that we need to separate personal from professional, but you say the inverse. Say that you don't separate the personal from the professional, and I was like, how does one impact the other or not? And how can you make the most of them, not separating them?
Actually, can anybody tell me how can we separate? How can I separate my?
Usually, we listen to women say you need to be 100% in your job when you're at the office, and 100% with your family when you are home.
Those women saying that, do they succeed doing that, or just?
I don't know.
Actually, I'm on the contrary. You take work at home, and you take work, but you give here 100%, and you give here 100% as much as you can. It is not how you are worrying about things or taking your home to work. It is how you behave towards work tasks and how you behave at home. So it is your behavior. Tell me, this is my always example, all-time example. If my kid, it is all about time management and prioritizing your values. If my kid is sick at home, would I be okay at work? But this is it. Would I be okay? Would I be going very professional with everyone? Or
you would be thinking about him, at least.
I would be worried. Okay, so either when my kid is sick at home, I take the day off, so I'm giving him 100% of my time, and this is available, and this is okay, and the law accepted. Or when I go at work and I'm confident that there is somebody is taking care of my kid, I'll always be worried, but I would never reflect my worry or my thinking about my kid in my behavior with my colleagues or my teammates or my subordinates. So it is my behavior. Like, you might be very angry from inside, but your behavior is very professional. That doesn't make me like 100% at work and 100% at home. It makes me professional. Like, my worries doesn't reflect on my performance. And it is another issue, either here or there. So I take home at work, and I take work at home.
I love this sentence. To finish, you are a business coach, Dina, so it was important to ask this question about communication and self-branding, how important it is for entrepreneurial success, particularly for women.
Their work would actually their work will be their self-branding. Their work, their values, how they communicate with others, this would be their branding. How they promise what they deliver, this would be actually an entrepreneur branding. This would build the trust in the brand as in the entrepreneur, him or herself, whether women or a man. So I believe that communication is very important. Being professional is very important. Reflecting that on the product or on the on the brand is very important. Because nowadays social media and the branding, it doesn't actually do anything with the product. It's always about the story behind it.
Yes.
So if you have the story and you have the product, you have built a perfect brand.
Jackpot. Last question, the advice, Dina, the advice you would give to a young woman starting as an entrepreneur, and another advice for one who is aiming for a larger markets.
For entrepreneurs,
starting.
Entrepreneurs, women entrepreneurs, yes. Please have a vision, have a concrete vision. I know that vision shouldn't be concrete, but please have a concrete vision about what you would like to achieve and how you are going to achieve it. conflict is never a good way to start a business. So please use your emotional intelligence to empower others, to empower you as fundraisers or as businessmen that they are going to adapt to your idea. Don't compete with men. Don't say the other product has been funded because the owner is a man. Just say competition is very good. My idea needs improvement, and this is how I'm going to work on it. Those who are going for larger scales, please use proper marketing research and marketing insights to know how to penetrate those large markets. Don't depend on somebody telling you, if you started in Tunis, this would be great. You have to work on a real market research to understand the norms and the dynamics of different markets. I don't like to say be aggressive, but be assertive with what you need and what the markets are offering. Don't fear to kill an idea when an idea should be killed, because it will only drain you.
Thank you, Dina. شكرا دينا على هذه الحلقة الممتعة. اكتشفنا الكثير عنك وعن أفكارك, and we had a lot of advices that I'm sure women listening to this episode really need. So thank you so much.
You're most welcome, Rawi, and I wish I have any impact on anybody's success in the future by just sharing my own story.
Our episode ends here. We look forward to your reactions, opinion, or comments on the social network dedicated to the Promoting Women Empowerment in the MENA region project. You can also follow us on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitter through the UNIDO PW in MENA pages. We look forward to seeing you soon in a new episode of the MENA Women Rising podcast, which you can listen to on all podcast platforms.